So that was a weird day, because obviously moving out, again, it's always the January. Obviously January's just full of these good times. Done the January, went there, my mum went, I'll text you later. That was it. Never spoke again.
Welcome to Curious Chats and Kind Acts, the podcast that celebrates difference, kindness, and the little things we can all do to make our world a better place. Join me, your host, Sonia, co-founder of the Axe charity, for some open, authentic and fun conversations with lots of interesting, extraordinary, everyday people who are all a little bit different. Prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your heart warmed as we explore the ways we can all make a difference in the world, no matter how small. So get ready to be inspired, uplifted and motivated to be the kindest version of yourself. Let's make the world a kinder place, one conversation at a time.
Hello, welcome. How are you? Today I'm talking to Krystle, co-owner of Honey Suckle Florist in Hoole, along with Helen. We discussed her upbringing as a Jehovah's Witness and how leaving the faith affected her relationships. We also chat about the power words have and the wonderful impact of random acts of kindness. There's some good ones. Now, on a side note, I discovered this amazing little florist after I bought Joy, my wife, a Valentine's Day gift of entry to Chester Half Marathon. Now, in my head, I was encouraging her to take up new hobbies, to get out in the countryside. In her head, she heard, "You think I'm fat." Now, in fairness to Joy, she not only completed the Chester Half, she went on to complete the marathon too. However, my lesson was in future, buy her flowers for Valentine's, and I have done every year since, and I am now a honeysuckle regular. I hope you enjoy. So, start at the beginning. You've had quite an interesting
Start at the beginning. Which beginning? I feel, obviously you know a little bit, I've done obviously my lifetime, I feel I've done two separate lives.
Okay.
So I've done my first life, obviously childhood, everyone's done a childhood life, but I feel I've done it in one circumstance, which is a religious background. So I grew up religious, which was a Jehovah's Witness.
You were born into your parents were
wasn't
always...
born into it, funny enough. No, I had my last birthday at 6.
Right, okay.
So we weren't always witnesses. Obviously, just before then, you don't really understand it, do you? Before any age of, I think, no matter what you've grown up as. So personally, it was my dad that was interested originally. Obviously, the good old-fashioned, everyone will know, the knocking on the door.
So it was through a knock on the door?
Yeah, knock on the door.
I didn't think
my dad, honestly, you'll be surprised. I've got some stories of that as well. But no, it was my dad. My dad thought he'd be sarcastic.
Okay.
So we were, at the time, we didn't actually have a house. We were in Walsey staying at a friend's house. So it was me, my sister, my mum and dad. My dad went, yeah, we're moving here. Why don't you come and see me here in Wales? Well, they did. So they actually contacted another congregation in Wales to go and knock on this new house, which was my parents' house, and he wasn't expecting it. So he was a bit convinced that maybe this was a nice thing. I'm a bit intrigued here that they actually followed through with it. They're nice people. My mum wasn't interested at all. Not at all. My mum was into big decorations, especially with Christmas coming up. She loved just decorations, presents. No, so it was actually my dad was the first one. And then my mum heard something. She never said what it was. When she was younger, she obviously got brought up Christian. She heard something one time, overheard it, of a conversation my dad was having with one of the said witnesses. And she asked the question and they answered it. And she's never had this question ever answered in her life.
What was the question?
I don't know.
What?
I know.
That's the first
So I don't know what way or what she was asking as a child to be raised as a Christian, but she didn't know the question. She never got the answer from them. They were always like, God will answer it for you.
So your mum was a Christian?
I don't know if it was a loose way, because my granddad will still say he's part of the Christian. My obviously dad, being Irish, was Catholic.
Right. Okay.
So they were brought up, I think, a certain way. Sunday school over here, Catholic, obviously things over there, and then they came together.
Yeah.
My mum was quite young, I think, and when she had me, she was 19.
Right. Okay.
And then, like I said, last birthday at 6, we stopped celebrating birthdays, stopped celebrating Christmas.
Why aren't you allowed a birthday?
It's classed as it's pagan, so it's nothing. I mean, to be honest, apart from the first changeover, you don't notice. I know it sounds silly.
What's the first change?
So I call it the changeover. It sounds like a moving house. But I was like, so you'd be in school
It's
one
like
minute.
changing religions.
Yeah. Like, I remember just being in school and I couldn't go to someone else's birthday party.
Wow.
But when you're a kid, you just go, I'm not allowed. You don't know until you grow older and you start to learn it yourself. So I just go, I'm not allowed to that. And then obviously it's hard because obviously we've all got to change, and then you're not going to a bonfire night, you're not doing anything to do with any certain celebrations apart from wedding anniversaries.
That's the only one you're allowed. So your mum and dad made this decision. What does that mean in reality?
So you study, you don't automatically, which people do think you automatically become a Jehovah's Witness. You don't, you have to study, and then you do a 3-hour exam.
So what are you studying? Is it the
Just
Bible?
the Bibles, and you obviously decipher the Bible. You learn how, when you're knocking on the door, obviously you've still got to learn that you can't always just knock on a door and start.
So is that part of the original? Is that what you have to do as a Jehovah's?
Yeah.
To door knock?
But you enjoy it at the time. You still have to pass a certain criteria to door knock. Obviously, you don't just. I don't just turn up to the meeting one day and then knock on a door.
You do like an entry-level exam.
Yeah, pretty much. I know it sounds silly, but yeah. But you.
So you study for what, a couple of months to get your first level.
Whatever it takes you. So it's not timed. It doesn't matter what age you are. You choose when you're ready, as an individual. So my mum never. Yes, we obviously went into that, but my mum never went. You have to do this. You have to. You go along when you're a kid and you put your nice outfit on. No difference than probably a kid probably goes to church with the parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got to say it was a great social life. You went to meetings 3 times a week.
And what?
Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
And what did you do at the meetings?
So you study, so it might be a new Watchtower and Awake that came out, which by then, they're the ones we were knocking on the doors with. Hi, would you like to read this?
With a what?
So it's like, if you had a subscription to a magazine,
yeah,
it's like a Watchtower and Awake version of it.
A Watchtower.
It's probably changed now because it's been 15 years.
So like a magazine.
Yeah.
So that had come out, you'd have to study it, like a pamphlet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that long to read. Like, I'm not a big reader, but I could read that. If there's any questions in there, someone might want to ask you a question. Someone might ask you a question to do with something completely unrelated. Some like to catch you out.
So your mum and dad went through this study, got the entry-level exam.
Yes.
And then they became Jehovah's Witness. What?
No.
I was going to say.
My mum did, my dad didn't.
Did he fail the exam?
No, he didn't continue. So you can't fail. So what it is it sounds like an exam, but it's not. You do sit in front of an elder, and it's just so they know you're doing it for yourself from your heart, and that you understand what you're entering.
Right, okay.
So some people get christened.
Yeah.
But they might get christened, or their baptism is maybe done by their parents. Ours is out of choice.
Right, okay.
So it'll be, I go, like when I had mine, I think I must have been about 15.
Right, okay.
And then I done mine in a big massive hall in Manchester.
But
so
your mum did pass.
My mum did get baptised. My dad didn't.
So why didn't
my dad's not a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, blimey.
Yes, it changed.
So why didn't he want to be one? Because it was him that started it.
Yeah, that's why we always laugh. We said, "What did you do?" But no, my mum went down one path, and my dad decided it wasn't for him. And then he said, because back then all it was is he said, he felt bad, and lottery tickets, you're not allowed to gamble.
Right. Okay.
So obviously, whatever his personal decisions are for anything else in his life is
his. Did they stay together then?
Yeah. So when they did stay together because they were married.
Right.
So, but they had to get married to be still together, because when you're Jehovah's Witness as well, when you're going into it, you can't be living together unless you're married.
Wow. So, this is mental.
So I went to their wedding day. Yeah.
So they'd been together a long time, but hadn't been married.
No, so
but
they hadn't.
To enable your mum
to continue with the witnesses, to both of them at the time continue. They had to get married. So we had half of the witnesses I remember the reception. Half of the witnesses was sat over there, and then you got like family and friends over here, because obviously they hadn't like mixed at that point.
Wow. So your dad remained non-Jehovah's?
Yeah, still to this day. My mum's still in it.
But what happens on Christmas Day then? Does your dad sit there with the turkey?
No, because he believes it wholeheartedly. Right. He just doesn't think he fits the bill.
Because he likes a lottery ticket.
Yeah, but it's certain, like, I couldn't answer his questions unless he was sat there now. But I just remember him saying, "Oh, it's not in. I believe it.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it."
So your whole life was Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Your dad just wasn't technically.
Yeah, he done exactly. Never celebrate Christmas. Didn't do birthdays. Yeah. He wasn't even into that anyway. If I'm honest, he still doesn't do it now.
Yeah.
My mum loved it.
Right.
She's the one that had to stop.
Give it up, really.
Yeah.
So you've got your mum is now a fully fledged. She's past the entry level.
Oh yeah, she's the witness.
But your dad isn't, but believes it.
But they're not together anymore.
Right.
So they actually, yeah.
We'll get to that. So we're still at. This is going to be
God knows what year.
So what you do this changeover? I mean, what is that? Is that a celebration or just starting to change life?
I think it's. I don't know. It's like, I suppose it's like someone saying, "I want to go on a detox. I want to do a diet." You do what suits you, what makes you feel better, what makes you feel you're either a better person or, I don't know. Maybe certain people in certain things, they'd lost someone. That was quite a common thing. They'd lost a loved one, could never wrap their head around it. What, they're gone forever.
Yeah.
And witnesses believe in, obviously, you've gone to sleep. And that one day there'll be a resurrection. So sometimes to outsiders, at that point, it was soothing.
Yeah.
So if you've lost someone and then next minute a witness knocks on your door, you think, do you know what? Yeah, that's hope.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have a future to believe in a hope, whether it's you think you're going to come back as a bee or a stool. It doesn't, it's the option of thinking there's something else after this life.
So you can't be cremated, I assume?
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to wake up?
Because they say, because your body is just here, isn't it? So it's like, when some people believe the souls have moved on, they turn into ghosts. Right. We've just gone to sleep, so this is just our vessel. Right. And that's gone to the grave, but we're just asleep.
You said we believe them.
Yeah, because I don't have anything against it. So for me, I still believe in God. I'm a creationist, still to this day.
Yeah.
I just personally didn't want to be there anymore. I outgrew it, or I don't know the right word, and I just changed. My personality didn't suit it. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I'm not against it. I'm not against any religion. I love all religion.
Are you allowed to be against? Are you supposed to be against other religion if you're a Jehovah's?
No, I think that's probably more of a myth from people.
Is it?
Trying to probably argue against all people. I'm not like that anyway.
So as a Jehovah's, you believe in God. Is it the same
Yes.
God as like a Christian God?
Probably, yeah. Born again. You've got born again Christians. They believe in the resurrection and things as well. So it's different.
What about like married to women and all that malarkey? Is that allowed?
No.
Oh, I'm not in. I'm not getting.
Yeah. So there is people there, obviously, that they are attracted to the same sex. Obviously, they're not against that. You just can't act on it.
Right.
Same as you can't have sex before marriage.
You're not allowed sex before
No sex before marriage.
Okay.
That's why a lot of witnesses get married young.
Yeah.
See them there, get married, rolling down the aisle at 22.
Same with Christianity.
Yeah.
Some Christians don't as well. And so, is it the New Testament that you've studied then?
Yeah,
is it older than you? Not...
So you've got it. So you've got your book. All it's done is translated, because this is where people get confused. It's a translation from obviously the old Bible, because obviously it was in Hebrew. Yeah. So obviously I don't know Hebrew, so obviously you have to trust the translator to translate it. So you'll find that most Bibles are the same. They're just wording's different. Yeah. And it's then what people probably make of that.
It's interpretation.
Yeah, so which is then as a human.
Is there a Jehovah's Witness Bible then? Like there's a King James version and a message.
I've still got them. I mean, I'll have to show you it.
Yeah, they've done their own interpretation.
I suppose it probably is. Okay. I suppose, yeah. I can't admit
I've stricter as well.
To me, probably at the time, no. Now I look as an adult. I think because now I'm like, well, I just want to do what I want to do, and that's probably maybe why my personality changed. Because you're talking about you change every year.
Well, when you're 6.
Yeah, I've gone from there. What did I leave at 23? Right. So I'm morphing into an adult now. Yeah. So it's not because I don't believe in it. Like I said, I remember having chats with people. I love the fact there's different religions. I love the fact people believe in different things that makes them happy. Yeah. It gives, whether it's hope or it gives them structure to their life, whether people have struggled in the past. Like there could be anyone of any walks of life and they've gone, you know what, that's helped me create a narrow and straight life. And that's great, but it's individual. But the rules are still the same.
Yeah, so you're 6, you've gone through changeover.
Yeah, I call it the changeover. I don't know what the probably right word is. I just remember being in primary school and sometimes going, I can't come to your house, or I can't go to the disco, or I can't do the Christmas play.
What's wrong with the disco?
Because it's socialising unnecessary.
So you're not allowed to socialise. What's necessary?
I'm going to make it sound normal.
What's necessary socialising?
So they call it, this is where me and my partner end up talking about it. So it's classed, you don't hang around with worldly people unnecessarily, so you go to work with them, but then you hang around with other witnesses. So then comes in the thing of good associations.
What's a good association?
It's probably what you're all circled with. So it's like, I don't know, you might not walk into a hall full of Jehovah's Witnesses and think it was a good time.
Right.
It's probably the same thing vice versa, maybe.
So what did you do for fun?
Oh, well, I know it sounds silly, but we had a great time. I had a great social life. They'd create parties for no reason for kids. So people always go, oh my God, you didn't do birthdays. But we'd have, like, I'd get home, and my mum, especially my mum, because she was there, my mum had done a present day.
Okay.
She'd go to your room, get them clothes you've left on the floor, right? And then we'd get there and there's loads of presents on our bed. Just random day. It's when you want to buy a gift, when you can afford it rather than being forced at certain times. I like it. She'd do random things all the time. It wasn't a specific day.
That's a random act of kindness almost, isn't it? So
some people done it on their mum and dad's anniversary.
Yeah.
They all got a present day. So the family was all, it's how you interpreted what you wanted a gift to be.
Yeah. But, and also, it's like, you know, it does come to Christmas, you know, what am I going to get them? They've got everything.
Yeah, I mean, I stress a little bit. Money.
Whereas you don't have to if it's
No,
just...
and do you know what my mum and dad done to us every year? We went to Anglesey. We stayed in static caravans, chalets, hotels. We used to go swimming. Back then you were allowed to be took out of school for religious reasons. You couldn't now without a fine. But we used to go out, be took out when they were all doing their Christmas celebrations, so we weren't uncomfortable. And they used to take us away.
Wow.
So I don't feel I missed out on anything, personally.
Great. That's great. Although you don't know what you don't know either,
yeah,
do you?
but that anyone could probably say that.
Yeah, definitely. So you're going through teenage life.
Teenage life, fine. So you go into obviously it's probably different to teenagers now. You weren't doing any of the stuff they're doing now. We were going to the cinema. Yeah. You know, you're going to the cinema for £3.
Yeah.
You're going bowling for a tenner. You know, we used to, whoever was the oldest, because it was mixed ages. It wasn't just teenagers hanging around together. You'd go to house parties. People would create balls, and you'd have to dress up. And
so how many were in this community?
I think in our congregation it must have been about maybe 90 or 100 at the time.
That's quite a lot. Then.
So we were in the Blacon one.
Right, okay.
It was actually split into two at the time because there was too many people for one hall, and then they actually morphed it together.
Right.
And then when I first went to the Witnesses, it was actually in D-side in Connors Quay.
Right.
Whether that's still there, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, so I knew people from Wrexham, Liverpool, Manchester.
So did all the congregations get together now?
Yeah, so you'd have Manchester twice a year. So it's called the 2-day. So that was an assembly, because it was an assembly of people together.
Right.
But it was all different congregations of that district.
Yeah.
And then you'd have your convention, which our one was Wolverhampton.
Oh wow! So
and it'd be amazing. It's an amazing experience. Imagine a football ground, but it's all the religion.
And do you like worship? Do you do sing songs?
You do singing, prayers. You'd have a songbook, and they'd range. So your 3 days, like days, was obviously planned out as in, I don't know, someone's doing a talk. It could be on this. It's preaching. I suppose it's classed as preaching to the outside world. Then you'd have a lunch break, you'd associate with new people, old people, the same people from your congregation, then everyone muck into clean.
Right.
And then, so you'd meet some new people. So it was great social life.
And is that where you'd hopefully meet, love relationships?
Yeah, we used to laugh. Everyone got new outfits for the convention. It was once a year. There with binoculars. And that's not even another joke. That is not even a word of a lie. We'd be there scouting, going, "Oh, he's nice. Look through there. Look, I'm going." And you'd be there going, "Look on aisle 10."
But then your parents were there as well. Were
but they didn't mind because
did they not?
No, it wasn't like it's nothing as an arranged anything like that. It was like my auntie and uncle. So I've got a brother and sister. And my auntie and uncle, their kids didn't want to join. They were a bit older than us, so they decided they didn't want to get involved. So we always went with my auntie and uncle. And then obviously my mum, because obviously my dad didn't go.
Yeah.
So you'd stay up, you'd make a weekend of it. A lot of the witnesses would pay for a hotel.
Yeah.
And they'd get a hotel, and then they'd all meet at dinner.
Wow.
Very social.
Did you meet anyone there then? Did you pull?
You do, surprisingly, but you get so used to it. It's how opposite. You get so used to talking to the opposite sex, you don't always actually think about it. It's probably different now. Like, if you probably went out. I can't imagine it, because I never went in the world of dating, as it were, I suppose, if that's what you call it. You would just talk. Because you didn't...
No snogs,
no snogs, no interaction of sexual activity. Not unless you were dating. You had to be dating, you had to be courting.
So if you were courting, you could snog,
but
not shag?
No.
Is this
I'd be like that.
Is this written in the book?
Just literally no sex before marriage, so that involved any other bits.
What about a massage?
Probably none of that either. Enough to hold hands was enough.
Did you have to have like a chaperone?
You did sometimes.
Did you go on dates?
I did have a boyfriend, but you do have to be chaperoned. So whether
did you meet the boyfriend at the annual event?
No, actually, I met him at. We went to basketball, and other friends knew through other friends. So you always met someone somewhere. So
it was a Jehovah's Witness basketball group.
Not even that. You'd just do events. So people always think it's really boring. You would be doing stuff either every night. Like sometimes we'd just meet. The girls would go for coffee. I don't know if you remember when it was the old Italians up on the bridge. We'd go for coffee and a wine.
Right.
Or you'd have a cake. You just talk after the meeting.
Booze is all right then.
Yeah, within moderation.
Oh right. Okay.
And that's where I took it too far. People, took it too far.
A glass of wine, but not a bottle.
No, but I was a bottle. Yeah. A few times I get told off.
How did you get told off?
If you were drunk, you couldn't get drunk because you're out of your. You're not in control of your mind.
Who told you off though?
Well, someone might dob you in. Someone might go.
But to who? Is there like a
elders?
Right. So the elders rule the roost.
So yeah, you might get brought in.
And what do they do?
So they might just go, "Oh, hi, we've heard of this," and obviously at me, blurt mouth. I bet, yeah, that was true. I wouldn't dob anyone else in. Half the other people would. You do. You're kids. Yeah. You're gonna get drunk. Yeah. You're 19
and
20.
Telling you off. It's the elders.
No, my mum was obviously if I took it too far, but. That we didn't clash, me and my mum, until I'd already left.
So what, are the elders like the law? Are they the most important people?
Pretty much, because you've always got to have someone who's in charge. It's the same as with a job, isn't it? You have the owner, then the manager, then the staff, then whatever predicament person, whatever's in. It's the same there. You have to always have someone in charge. I know people go, "Oh, I'd like to be in charge of myself," but if you don't have sometimes rules, what you're following, what you're doing.
So you'd go out drinking occasionally and maybe have a glass too many, and you met your boy at a basketball match.
Oh yeah, I didn't like him at the time, but we made friends, so because that's what you do, you became friends, and then you might be attracted to someone, but you'd always fancied people. It was never like restricting that way, but you're probably not as thinking of it as much, and I was never bothered about getting married.
Why?
Just couldn't be bothered. I was like, how do I know that person's going to be me? Because once you're married, you can't get divorced.
Yeah.
So I always used to say to my mum,
how do you know? I went into marriage thinking I'm never going to get divorced.
I wouldn't want to, But I was like, but what if? Because don't forget, you've never lived with them, so you've met in circumstances. You're never really alone. So how do you know that person's for you for the rest of your life? Well, you didn't even know that.
You weren't allowed to find out.
No. Well, what would you compare it to?
Well, that's fair.
So that's always an easy one, I suppose. The men and women in that scenario. You wouldn't know, would you? No. You wouldn't know what's good, bad.
They might
Rocky.
all be having really bad sex and not even know.
But the only thing I did think about is I used to say to my mum, how do you know?
Yeah. What did she answer?
She used to actually say, you're lucky, because I think she always wanted a husband that was in, going with her, because it unites you, and, you do things together.
Well, it's a big chunk of your life.
You're
doing 3 meetings a week. And do they have a Sunday service?
Yeah, so we used to do Tuesday night, 7 o'clock till 8:45, Thursday night, 7 o'clock till 8:45, and Sunday morning, 10 till 11:45.
So that is quite a commitment.
Plus work full time.
So in terms of work then, you'd all be expected to go out to work like normal?
Oh, yeah.
And then keep your own money?
Yeah.
Do you have to chip any in?
Just same as contributions. So they'd have so you'd walk into the foyer. I don't know if you've ever. People always think it's a church. It's not. It's just a hall. It's a room. You go in. You had a room to the left, a couple of rooms to the right, kitchen, toilets, and then you had a contribution box. But it was it might be worldwide help. You could put your money into whatever box you wanted to.
Right.
So it was never going around with a hat or
there's no,
a basket.
It
was just a wooden box. They'd collect it because it's still obviously because it is a charity. It's run with charity money. But yeah, you should I think Mum sometimes used to give us 50p a pound, and she'd go, "Oh, you choose which box you want to put it in." I used to put it in worldwide.
Yeah.
So it could be people abroad, abroad that have had disasters. It would go to that hall that needs help, or it could go to whichever is in help at the time. I sometimes didn't understand it because I never really pay attention, but I'm like that now half the time.
Did you have to put a certain amount in, or because in the Bible there's 10% bandied around?
I don't know where that is. That's not what we had. No, it was literally if you've got that money. If you had 50p, you put 50p. If you had £20, you put £20 in. It's.
And you weren't ever felt obliged to stick around.
No.
That's interesting. I suppose if people are that committed, they're going to put quite a bit in because it's
it's up to you. If you earned more money, and you might have a person who doesn't earn as much money and actually put more in. You don't know. Well, you wouldn't know because it was up to that person, so you didn't have people standing over counting it. It just got counted at the end by an elder, and then that would go into the Hall's bank.
Right. Okay.
Or to the Worldwide Help.
Yeah. Wow. So you are dating a hot young boy, basketballer.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that now, like. I mean, he wasn't even a basketballer. He played football, but no, it's just we met. It's just you used to do things. It was innocent fun. It was things like you'd do that, or we'd go to the basketball game. Someone would have a cheese night. You might do, I don't know if you ever remember that dance mat or a sing star. It was fun things where people did just come together.
So you just go with him and maybe occasionally
all of us.
But so you wouldn't.
Yeah,
would you go out just him on your own?
Yeah, we would go for dinner or something, but you've got plenty of people around you. But yeah, it's
a weird way of dating, that, isn't it?
But sometimes I mean, it's nice. I think it's nice because you talk to the person.
Yeah.
You know, it's not based on just a sexual attraction. Like even with my partner now, we talked first before we met.
Yeah.
You know, good old Tinder.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to that one.
We're not there yet. So the hot basketballer stroke footballer didn't.
Well, he wasn't. No, he wasn't a basketball player. So he was a guy, but we were best friends.
Right. Okay.
Best friends. He was actually sad when I left.
Yeah.
Him and his sister, because I was really good mates with his sister.
She's desperate to join in, isn't she? We're still at the Jehovah's phase.
Oh, apparently, I'm writing a book.
I thought you must be talking about flowers.
No, we're not at flowers yet.
That's where we started.
Right, so
you don't look at it that. So I was so he moved on to he was with someone else anyway. I was single at the time when I left.
So you what job did you do, by the way?
Here. I've always been a florist since I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you left school at 16.
Left school at 16. Well, just 15 turning 16. Went to college. Done my apprentice here. And then luckily got a job after the year of my apprenticeship. And then worked full time since then.
Wow. So you were a Jehovah's and here for quite a long
Yeah.
time.
Oh, this is the longest address I've had in my lifetime.
Was it ever weird? I don't know, because I'm a Christian and I suppose I've got beliefs. I'm just trying to think. There's been moments where it's felt weird in my day job. Like you wouldn't be able to go to people's birthday parties, would you?
No, but I've only ever worked with one person.
Yeah, I suppose,
so if maybe I was in an office, maybe I would have felt it a bit more. But I've always been with one other person, and it's normally been my boss.
Yeah.
So you never really had that relationship. Anyway, you'd get on, but obviously when they met me, you'd explain it.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'd have to take the weekends off to go to my convention.
Yeah.
So that'd be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Never worked Sunday anyway.
You're not allowed to work a Sunday.
No, we just weren't open here.
Oh right, but you can.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. But no, I've never really had a problem. You might get at Christmas time now, because it's perfect scenario as we're on it, because it's here now.
Yeah.
You couldn't say Merry Christmas.
Right.
So you might say, so then I felt bad sometimes because I looked like really rude.
Greeting.
So she's going, Merry Christmas, have a lovely Christmas. I'm like, have a nice weekend. You'd change it. I wouldn't be rude back, but you did feel like sometimes you weren't doing the same cheer they were doing back. It's like talking to someone grumpy, but I was never a grumpy person. I was a lot quieter back then, but never a grumpy person. Yeah. So I'd always go, oh, you have a nice weekend.
So what, you're in your early 20s now,
yeah.
You're single.
Single.
The basketballer didn't work out.
No, stayed friends. We were always friends, up until obviously left.
And so why are you thinking, oh, this doesn't quite feel...
I don't know, you know when you go through life and you're there and you're going to the meeting and I can't describe it to someone sometimes because I'm very much on my feelings.
Yeah.
And I always feel it from here,
yeah.
like when I'm like there to my gut. And I was just like, went to it one day and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me anymore. Like, it's not suiting me. I want to, is this what I want for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Do I want to see stuff? What do I want to do? Like, I just wanted to travel.
Right, can you not travel?
You can, but I always thought, oh, if I'm just there, I'm going to work in my job and get married.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, that was it. I'm 20, how can that be it for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Going to the meeting, being married.
So as a Jehovah's, could you have said, right, I'm going on a gap year, going around the world?
Yeah, I remember having one chat one time and I wanted to move out because I've always wanted to move out really early and they don't recommend it. They recommend staying at home until you get married.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of money, but I suppose it's maybe a safer version. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning of certain things sometimes. I was just like, is this it? That's the best way to describe it. Is this it? Like, at this point, it took me 2 years to leave, so I must have been like 21. I had these feelings, and I never told anyone.
Yeah.
So I'd kept going, and then I can't do something anymore, because I'm like, hang on, this feels too fake. I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. But we were all going on this big skiing trip. It was a big group of us. And I remember telling my friend Adam, we went out for dinner, Hickories it was. We were playing in the snow, it's Christmas again. And I said, I don't think I want to be here anymore. And he went, can you please just not tell anyone and wait until we've been on this holiday?
Yeah.
I said, okay. So the minute I went on the holiday, I had a great time, had a great holiday, lovely bunch of people, we had the best time. It just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's not because I didn't believe in it, because people go, oh, you didn't believe in it, because a lot of people go apostate and talk against it. I've never talked against anything in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start now.
Yeah.
But for me, I just was there. It's the best way to describe it. It was just like, no.
So, and then, like, if I feel like I call it God for my belief, it's like especially when I'm worshipping, I get like a warm, hot, intense feeling sometimes of being in that moment.
It's being belonging, and then being there and wholeheartedly doing it. And I'm one of them. You're either wholeheartedly doing it, and if your whole heart's not in it, don't do it.
Right.
Me personally, I'm a full believer in that as well.
Because that's weird. Because if you believe in God, and in the Jehovah's God, I don't know what the difference is. I'm not. Then, like, I can't not believe in God.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe in God. I still pray now every now and then.
But it's like an altered God then, because it can't be a Jehovah's God. Because if it was, you'd have to stay within their rules.
Yeah. So that's where it changes. Because even if I pray now, I don't know if I'm heard. Because what I've done is I've left, so it means I've turned my back on God. So that's why I'm disassociated. So I've turned my back on God, so that means then I've gone, no, don't want to listen to you anymore. It's never been that for me in my heart, but that's where it's classed as, because you've walked away. Right,
okay. So let's talk about the walking away then.
Yeah.
So you've been skiing.
Still January, come back, still not into it. And I just went to my mum. I remember come back going, just tell the elders I'm not coming anymore. And that was, even my mum was shocked, because no one seen it coming. And I was just like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And there was no point me going to a meeting, because I'm not going to falsify going to a meeting and pretending to still be a witness when in my heart.
How was your dad at this point?
Actually, funny enough, me and my dad are the ones that really clash. I think my mum was just more upset because she knew what it was going to entail. Yeah. Whereas me and my dad were like clashing.
Really?
He'd tell you now, he'd feel bad for it.
But that's really interesting, because he wasn't one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the irony.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and my dad were getting into some fight. We're very similar, me and my dad. But that's probably why we clash sometimes. But yeah, he was just like, I can't believe you're doing this. I remember coming to work one time, why are you being so selfish? Wow. And to me, I thought, well, I haven't been selfish for 2 years. I've been thinking about this for 2 years. I think I've done the right way of leaving. I'm not pretending to go to something and pretending to be a person I'm not going to be anymore. Or I'm not anymore.
Authentic self,
yeah, to me, I thought I was doing the right way.
Yeah.
The right way, the right thing, the right time.
Yeah.
But some people don't think that.
So you told your mum.
Yeah. I stopped associating with everyone. I stopped that.
Well, that's like your whole life, because all your mates and everything.
Yeah.
So what did you do then?
Cried a little bit. Yeah. Had a lot of anxiety.
Were you still living at home?
Still living at home. So my sister was married, so she was actually already moved out. So at this point, we were all still a little bit allowed to talk. But my sister was the first that wasn't allowed to talk to me because she was no longer under the roof.
Right, okay. So they didn't make you homeless, you were still allowed to stay at home?
Still allowed to stay at home. So what am I now? 23. I'm sure I'm 23. Yeah, so basically, I didn't know what to do with myself, so I'd go to work. I had this friend called Holly, and she wasn't baptised or anything at the time. She was just like, oh, I'll come out with you. So I used to go out drinking. But I got so much anxious that I didn't want to go home anymore, because it was like, I'm not going home to the life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like they were doing one life and I'm doing another, and I know they don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I never wanted to go home. So I used to go to the bars and drink a little bit. Obviously I'm getting drunk now. I used to go home, come back to work.
Did you have this little rebellion? It's like, right, I can do it now.
I suppose they probably even thought it was rebellion, but in my head I thought I was still being a good girl. I was doing nothing naughty apart from, sometimes when I'm getting drunk, I would talk to the bar staff and make friends with the bar staff and go rather, because I couldn't afford to go out and get drunk every day.
Yeah.
But I remember just being in Havana, sitting on the sofa. I'd have dinner there with Holly. We'd get a bottle of wine. We'd put it behind the bar. If we hadn't drunk it all, go somewhere else, talk to the other people.
Yeah.
Because bearing in mind, I've got no friends now.
Yeah, yeah.
No friends that technically can hang around with me. So I'm at this point.
Well, did they contact you going?
To be fair, I did have a few letters. And
Like
two of my friends met up with me.
Saying, I'm really sorry, I can't hang out with you anymore. Because that's mad.
You don't actually mention it. You don't mention it because you know it's going to happen. But we didn't actually know this was going to happen yet until an elder approached me in work. Literally, where Chef is, I was cornered in that corner. He said, "We've heard you've been out getting drunk." And I went, "Well, yeah." And he said, "I've heard you've been getting out drunk every night." And I was like, "Well, someone's obviously watching me from the witnesses."
Yeah.
So I obviously was like, "Hang on." I said, "I couldn't even afford to get drunk every night. And if obviously I'm out, so are they."
Yeah.
Because they have to have a witness. If you're accusing someone of something, you have to have a witness with you. But you're supposed to actually bring it technically to the person you've got a quarrel with first, and then if it's not resolved, you take it to an elder.
That's.
But obviously, I'm not there, so they're taking it straight to the elder.
Wow.
But I wasn't actually getting drunk every night. But anyway, so then I'd obviously had words with my mum. My mum was like, "Oh, this isn't working out," because obviously we're just in different lives.
Yeah.
And then I got a HMO house on Brassy Street.
Oh.
Yeah, so best times. That was a laugh. So that was a weird day because obviously moving out again. It's always the January. Obviously January is just full of these good times. Done the January, went there. My mum went, "Oh, I'll text you later." That was it. Never spoke again.
Joking, and that's because the elders have told her.
At this point, no, I get announced on. So I was either supposed to attend a judicial, which is to say sorry for my ways. But bearing in mind, I've left now for 4 months.
Yeah.
So in my head, I've not done anything naughty in the meetings.
No.
In my head. In their head, I'm still a Jehovah's Witness.
Right. Okay.
So I'm still taking that stature, or whatever the right word is, whilst behaving a certain way.
Yeah.
And in my head, well, I've notified everyone. I'm not hanging around with everyone. And these people at bars don't know who I am from Adam.
Yeah. So
if you know what I mean.
Like, how do you formally leave then?
And they announced it because I wouldn't attend a duty, and I said, "I'm not going to apologise because I'm not sorry." So I won't be attending. So that's what the elder said here. And then they announce it in the stage at the congregation.
And then that's it, no one can speak to
Yeah.
you. That's so harsh.
It's like literally, talk.
That's so harsh. And that isn't Christian.
I mean,
it's like, well,
it is hard. I've got to admit, I half expected to, when I left, I just seen it as in I half expected people not to hang around with you as much, but you'd still be allowed to talk to me family. Obviously, people drift apart if they're not doing certain things together. I took that on the chin. I probably wasn't expecting the cut to that extent.
Especially your mum.
Well, all your family at this point.
Not even your dad.
So my dad could technically talk to me at the time, but he chose to obviously respect my mum. So my dad would text me and make sure obviously I was okay.
Yeah.
Normally meet up once a year, maybe have dinner.
Wow.
And then that was it. Went to Brassy Street, met a group of girls, lovely girls. Obviously all gone our separate ways now. But it was brilliant. I know it sounds silly, I came to work, we'd go to town, then we'd have a family night. We created a family night on a Friday when one of us had payday.
Community, really.
Yeah, so I was never left. The only time I felt alone was that first night in that house, because I was like, whoa. Because at the time this all happened, my boss had sold the shop, but didn't tell me I didn't have a job.
Okay.
So luckily, Danny, which you know Danny, he came in and went, "Oh, no, I wasn't giving you a job." He said, "Well, I could probably give you 3 days." So I went from 6 days to a no job to 3. So I could barely afford Brassy Street, because at the time...
you're on your own. You've
was
got
on my own.
parents to back you up if you're in trouble.
So you were literally the first time I've ever felt like, whoa, no money, no family and no friends. It's a weird experience to feel, but very invigorating. Now, probably other people probably wouldn't agree with me.
Yeah.
It's not nice to probably what other people would hear now and they wouldn't agree. But you go through certain lives facing a certain decision, and sometimes them actions are from them, whatever decisions you make or circumstances or, I don't know, consequences. I just think it is what it is, isn't it?
Makes you stronger, doesn't it?
I think so.
Like when you're in the shit. And actually, like, who...
But they haven't stopped talking to me because they don't love me. These probably will still... I still think now. I sit here and I'll go, I bet you they still think to me time to time. Friends, family, whoever's in there.
Yeah.
You can't hear a song or you've done a certain thing. You can't.
Food.
You can't. You just... Because everyone does it.
They're not allowed to... And I think
No.
That's harsh.
It's pretty intense, like.
Yeah.
Because I remember... when was it? I went to a funeral. It's my Uncle Joe's funeral. And I took my nan and granddad, because nan and granddad then I went to see.
Yeah.
So I went to Deeside, picked them up and come back to the crematorium in Blaken, and that's the first time I had to walk in, see my family, and I was late. Coughing in the frigging middle. Turn up. Hello.
And that's the first time you'd seen them?
Yeah, so...
Did they acknowledge you? Or?
No. So that was a weird experience. To be fair, my auntie did message me and thank you so much. I can't invite you to the wake, but thank you for turning up today and being supportive. So she did, to be fair. My auntie...
To the wake, because she's not a witness.
She's a witness.
Right, okay.
It's very confusing. They're inactive, but they are witnesses.
Right.
So yeah, she did message me, and my mum, after the service, did come up to me and cry her eyes out.
Oh,
yeah,
so
and hugged me.
Mum, but then
she had to have 2 shots of vodka.
God came first, I suppose.
Because that's the way it is. But you respect it, because when you've been brought like that, you respect it.
Like,
I'd rather someone stick to what they believe in and have more respect.
Would be like, how could you do that to
your
daughter?
Yeah. But no, it's one of them. I've been to my cousin's wedding, my cousin Claire, and they weren't going to turn up. And my actual cousin Claire went, hang on, if Krystle can come on her own to when you guys aren't taken, I'm sure all you as a group can come to because they weren't going to go to the wedding. And we turned up, and we did have an awkward encounter. Me and my sister, we both obviously went to the toilet at the same time, come out, but we didn't know we were both in there. Come out, washing your hands. You can't touch. We're both, and the mirror is all the way. It's in the double tray, and the mirror's there, and we're both like.
How's this?
It's
that was the last decade.
She's had a baby at this point. She's married.
Wow.
And I'm just like, my brother's married because obviously I wasn't allowed to the wedding. And so then, to be fair, we both went, this is stupid, and we hugged.
Yeah.
And then I got emotional that night, to be fair. So I did go home not long after that because I was like, I don't think I can do this. They're all dancing over there, and watching it's very weird.
Yeah.
But not being able to go up to them and talk to them.
It's so exclusive, isn't it? And actually, the opposite of what I think Christianity's about.
Yeah.
It's about including people.
And that's probably where the argument is for people. Whereas for me, because it's a decision, I faced it, I dealt with it, and I just think, well, if it hasn't affected me, it shouldn't really affect anyone else. I'm glad it's me.
Grace, to be honest, what I'm hearing.
But no, I'm happy where where I am and what I've done. If I'd had regret, maybe I may have made him sour, but I don't, because I took a long time to make that decision.
Yeah.
I knew what might have come, maybe not to the extent I got, and I faced it when it happened. But what else are you going to do?
And did you chat to God about it? Go, well, I think God's all right with this, but is it? And I guess that's like, it's not the same. But like Joy and I, before we got together, we met through church.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time praying about it, talking about it, and I'm all right. God's all right with it.
Yeah.
I genuinely do.
Yeah.
And so everything I've done since then is me thinking, well, God's all right with it.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I don't
Yeah.
care what the church think and whatever else.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because you don't know whether God's all right with it.
It probably isn't, but at the same time, I just think it's like if your friend wasn't loyal to you, would you automatically not be loyal? Because they were acting a certain way. That's how I view it. Just because someone was going to act a certain way to me doesn't mean I should act that certain way back. I can mirror, don't forget, don't get me wrong, if someone's in a mood, and sometimes it takes a toll and you think, right, my mood's going to come out now. But I wouldn't try to do it back to them because they're not giving it me. Does that make sense?
No, because I think, my version of God is a very loving, inclusive God.
Yeah.
He loves me.
Yeah.
And forgives me for everything I get wrong, which is quite a lot of stuff.
Well, we all do, really, don't we? We're not perfect.
But you don't see God like that. You see God as, well, I'm not in anymore, so I get why you don't love me anymore.
I don't even feel that, if I'm honest. I just look at it, he sees me, he knows I'm not a bad person. I didn't do anything to hurt anyone, harm anything, change anyone's life dramatically. That wasn't for my own.
No.
And I just go forward, and if every now and then I want to pray, whether it's to just talk, or, especially when I've got anxiety, I find I do it a lot. I normally stand outside and have a little woo.
Yeah.
That's always going to be there. So even if it's not real and it wasn't there and they're not listening or whatever you want to call it, I could talk to that as long as it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So I could talk to that. I'm pointing at a hedgehog house, but I could talk to that, and if that makes me feel better,
but that's not
who's
God.
it to say?
For me, it's a comfort. And when I'm in the shit, I've got this belief that there's something, someone, something there. But I guess you can't have that now.
I still have it in me.
Yeah.
It's what you put in yourself. It's what you believe. It's not what someone tells you or what their version is or God's version. It's my version.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah.
I just see it as in, I go to work, I try to make money, I've got a good partner, we work together. I'm not saying we don't fight, obviously we fight. But at the same time, I've got a nice, happy life. So if that is mine, that's mine.
Yeah, and
it's not anyone else. Yeah, it's not anyone else. It's not what anyone else tells me what my happiness should be or my rules of that life is. I mean, I don't even turn up on time for work. I'm always late, so I don't really do rules. But I do them to a certain extent, as in, you go 30 miles an hour on the road because there's 30, so you don't endanger someone. That's different.
So you're in your HMO house in
Yes.
Street.
Yeah,
You're
loving
with
life.
The girls.
Yeah, loving life.
Moving on from family.
Yeah, so I literally created a little circle with them. I wasn't there that long. I ended up meeting a guy. I used to go out with one of my friends from the house, and we used to go to the Temple Bar in Chester, and then we'd do a karaoke night. It was what we'd the girls done with the Brassy Street Girls. It was a song we always done, We Are Family.
Okay.
And we'd end up drinking, obviously.
Obviously.
I'm 24 at this point, why not? And I remember being Brassy Street, and we used to walk in town. None of us had any money. One of the girls was from New Zealand, so she didn't have a family because she was adopted.
Yeah.
So we stuck together. We still talk now. She just doesn't live here anymore. Yeah, we used to have a great laugh. Met this guy. We got to know each other because I was like, I'm not getting with anyone. I want to be me. I need to find out who I am. Because I'm really... Like, I didn't tell anyone I was a witness before. I didn't tell anyone the situation I had because I didn't want them to know because I wanted to be me.
Yeah. Who
am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obviously Krystle, but, I'm a florist. But what am I doing? What do I do? What is my belief in my life?
It's like you're reinventing yourself.
Yeah,
but you can
it's weird.
This is life too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel I've had two lives.
So what did you sit down and think, right, well, I'm gonna always have like good hair. You've always got good hair, and that's gonna be me.
I don't. You should have seen me back then. I was half shaved. I was changing it every left, right, and centre. Oh my word!
What? Did you sit down and think, who do I want to be, or did you?
No,
just
not even necessarily that. I just was like, I can do whatever I want to do. It's who. At that point, no one's looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm just the girl who works in the florist.
Yeah.
So it was what I wanted to create out of it. This is where did I want to live? Obviously, circumstances weren't ideal at that time for me. Like, obviously I had no money.
Yeah.
So, but then we made a laugh of that. The girls used to get together, and I remember one time I had a tenner left in my bank account, and the other girl had a box of wine, and one got super noodles. We made it.
Yeah.
So when people go, sometimes you can have a bad time, but it can also be made and flipped into a good time.
Yeah.
It can. I'm not saying heavy stuff doesn't get to me, because I do unfortunately suffer with panic attacks.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to get to me. Like this, we had a brilliant time. They were a great group of friends. Everyone then obviously went off the separate ways anyway. I've then courted this guy, dated him.
Did you have sex with him though?
I had sex with him.
Oh!
Stop.
Was it worth the
I had
wait?
sex with him. But yeah, you got a different life again.
Yeah.
So you're now
Did
like...
you not want to go back to them going, what are you doing, guys?
But you do, I know it sounds stupid, and not in a sound really selfish way. You don't think of that.
Yeah.
You don't think. I know it sounds selfish. I didn't think of it. As long as to me they're happy and healthy, and my family were happy and healthy.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's ostracised at this point. So I'd rather have it been me than any of my family members.
Yeah.
Because at least I can take it. At this point, that's where I found out about myself.
Yeah.
I'm strong-minded.
Very.
And well, I feel I am.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's the one main thing you learn about yourself, and then after that, well, it doesn't then matter what happens. As long as I've got enough food, on the table, and you've got a roof over your head, and you've got a great set of friends.
Yeah, and it does. I think the friends is really important in terms of their kindness to you.
Yeah.
And that community that you built.
It took a while to get to that stage. I mean, I'm not even at this mad stage. People go, oh, you don't Holly? Well, no, because obviously my school friends, I left at school.
Yeah.
Then my witness friends left at the witnesses, and then I'm on my own, started again.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything to carry on from my childhood, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then Holly, my friend that I obviously went out with, she went back to the witnesses and got baptised.
Right.
So this time, when I say I'm on my own, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And then we did use tech because we were really good mates. We've been mates since we were 15. We're checking every now and then. I just go, are you dead?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you okay? And I knew, she just went, good, thanks, hope you're okay. We left her at that. It was just to know that we still thought of each other. And that's what I'm saying. You can't go through life, and just because you're not talking doesn't mean you don't think of that other person.
Yeah.
There's no way you can't.
Yeah. You've got all that shared
We haven't fallen out.
Yeah.
No one's fallen out in any of this scenario, and that's what people I don't think can grasp. But there's people who are family now that can talk, they don't.
Yeah.
So it's only the same thing. They probably just go, just don't like him, have nothing in common.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm like, no, this was a decision we all made.
Yeah.
All of us, even though mine's over there and theirs is there, we all made a decision.
Yeah.
And we've all stuck by it. That's how I think about it.
I think that's
You might get a few listeners.
very gracious of you, but well. So you met a guy in
Met
the
a guy,
Bar.
Temple Bar, had a laugh. Our HMO house was being turned back into a rental house, so she was asking people to leave. So he went, well, I've got a flat. And he had a housemate at the time. He said, why don't you just move in with me? We're dating anyway. I was like, all right, okay. Only for a bit, though, because I want to be independent on my own. Well, 7 years later. 7 years later, 5 houses later, bought a house together, got engaged.
So it's the same guy?
Not that I'm with now.
right.
No, he went off and done his own thing.
Right. Okay.
So he's with a different lady now. Got kids. So that's great. Happy for him. We had a lovely relationship. It just didn't work out.
Okay.
And then this guy, obviously, one night. So I was just like, me and Holly. So we're back talking again now. She's left.
Left again.
She's in now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a yo-yo.
So I think because that's what some people don't know. They don't know where they sit sometimes, whereas I knew that's what sometimes you have to wait for. Yeah, it is, and it's hard because a lot of people be scared to leave what they know.
Yeah.
Whether it's a job they work in or a house they've lived in since birth.
Yeah, it could be 6.
Yeah, it could be anything in life that you're so used to.
So, okay, back with Holly.
We're getting drunk one night, bearing in mind I'm single, we're having a laugh, and then she said, you need to get yourself on Tinder. And I was like, Tinder? I don't do online stuff, that. But she said, honestly, it's good, just have a laugh with it. You don't have to get with anyone. So anyway, there's one guy I liked, which Matthew, the one I'm with now, we just had a right laugh. We were just talking before we met.
And was that the only guy?
I'd been on a couple of dates, but like I said, well, I'm one of them people, and you know.
Right.
I was like, not really doing it for me. It's not really enough to... Because if I'm going to be committed and loyal, I need to know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it full-heartedly.
Yeah.
So, we did we just end up talking, had a good laugh. I said, well, I'm not up for a relationship. Went round for, happy time. And then hit it off. Been together for 5 years.
That's brilliant, isn't it? And
Who's this lucky man? You speak...
Who knew that Tinder was so long term?
I actually didn't realise so many people do meet on it. We went on holiday. We done our first holiday to Turkey. In 2019, and there was loads of people that said they met. One couple had got married a year later, and we're like, I didn't know any of this world, really.
No.
I've been on dates that people I physically met, but that was about it, really.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to dance and drink, have a nice haircut, come to work, do repeat,
Yeah, that's
but
ace.
yeah.
That's ace, and now you're living together.
Now we're living
You've
together.
Got a very cool dog called Buddy.
Very cute dog, little old man now, he's 10. So we've got him. Obviously now I've got my business. Matthew already had his though. He's got a building business. It was MJB.
And so let's talk about. So you settled down with your man.
Yeah.
And then you still working in the florist.
Still working in the same florist.
On,
yeah.
And then a year ago you came into work.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Basically, bless me and Helen. It was tough times anyway. So obviously there was things going on behind closed doors that obviously affected me and Helen. So we were coming to work not necessarily getting paid.
Right.
That was unfortunate due to illness. And then basically it just went on from there that we ended up getting a person come in and go, oh, this no longer exists.
Wow.
We're
Just
like,
a Monday morning.
Just a phone call. So we're coming in tomorrow. They turn the lights off, shut the door, done.
Wow.
We were like, oh, Gina Macca's, okay. So we sat in the dark, had this conversation, and then the next day we just went, right. So we spoke to the landlord. Obviously the receivers, they have to check with the landlord because obviously we're still on their premises at this point. We're not technically supposed to be on. So we got it. We thought, you know what, let's do it. Where else are we going to do? Yeah. I didn't know any different. I didn't want to be anywhere else. This is, like I said, it's my longest address I've ever lived at.
Yeah.
I've never lived anywhere else longer than here. This is what I class, people laugh and say, oh, it's sad, but it's my home.
It's your community.
I've seen everything through here.
It is. It's your, you've got
I've grew up here.
Relationships with people, yeah.
We've got customers who come in that we've made friends with.
Yeah.
We sit out here. We've had takeaways out here.
Yeah.
Prosecco. Obviously, we've had, you can see that.
There's quite a few bottles of Prosecco lined up over there. Lots of Prosecco.
We've gone and supported local areas around here. Got some food and brought it here. It's we've got Emma next door at the deli. Like we're really good friends. We literally talk. And they say talk through the window at the step. We feel like we're on Coronation Street. We all trust each other.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can just get that anywhere.
No.
I don't think you can personally.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine myself working in the centre of Chester, walking to the car park and to work to the car park. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, you have built a community here, and that's what's so great about it. So day 2, you've took a lease on, have you?
At this point, no. So we thought we took a lease on, but then he wanted a business plan.
Right. Okay.
So at this point,
all of them?
that's exactly. We were like, right. So we went to the pub. We were like,
to write a business plan.
we didn't even do that. We were just like, we were so overwhelmed of what, because bear in mind this went on for 5 years, all this stuff happening that people didn't know about. So you've just done 5 years, you're stressed up to the nines, you get told this and you just think, hang on, well, what are we doing? Luckily we did get advice and we spoke to certain people and solicitors, and we had to wait it out, hence why we weren't getting paid, because then we could obviously fight for ourselves. So we did look into that. We didn't do anything blindly. We did look into our rights, but it meant you also couldn't get benefits. So we were
skint.
No money. So when people say you're skint, no, I know the word skint. Luckily, obviously I've got a partner. He's, he puts a roof over my head, so I can't argue with that. He supports me in every way. He's the one that kept me saying, no, you need this, pushed you to do it, because you could have had a partner and just went, do you know what, just don't worry about it, just come home and find another job, just take your time. He's not that guy. No, do it, fight for it, you get it. And that's where you start going, yeah. So what we did, we're here a year later, basically started with no money. So we had no money anyway, because we weren't getting paid from the job, because most people who go into business have either got a starter fund or money in the bank anyway.
Your first flowers and all that?
Well, this is the thing. So we were lucky that we kept a great relationship with our suppliers. So they, we'll send this, you pay. So we said, we just need a couple of days to catch up, because obviously we need to sell it to make money, because at this point you've got no business bank account. You have just turned up, and even though it was already business, you have actually just turned up and opened a door.
And all your stock is very perishable, isn't it?
Well, at this point we weren't even sure it was going to be taken off us. So obviously that person comes round and looks and goes, right, and then they give you an offer, and obviously we're a florist when it's not worth a lot, and we didn't have much here anyway, because this was, I think, was it Monday morning, Tuesday, something like that, so it was early in the week anyway, so most of the deliveries don't come really until Wednesday, and so that was it. So we took over everything. It's been hard when people say, it looks an easy job. I think any job can look easy from an outside perspective, because it looks like we're just playing with stuff, but when you've got to try and push something in hard times where people go, no money, and that's a luxury item, it's a very hard to do.
And I think as well, like it's actually, there's doing the flowers, which you do amazingly, but running a business is very different to doing the flowers.
It is, because obviously you started on with no money yourself, and then at least when you go to work, you go, oh God, I'm skint this week, at least I've got next week payday.
I know Friday's coming. It's like I can eat
you're waiting for payday,
for Friday.
And that's it.
If Friday's not coming, because...
So... it's. I'm never going to say it's not even easy. It's not easy now. It's actually in some ways it's weirdly harder now than compared to last year. Because we are established, but at the same time, you're still trying to find new ways to. For me and Helen, for it to be ourselves. Like it's Honey Suckle now, not Fresh. And that's no disrespect to anyone who had it before. This is us.
It's about you. It's almost like you reinventing the business. Isn't it?
And everyone knows, we've been so lucky with obviously all our local customers and our regulars, and we've tried to keep prices down, but it got to the point we're keeping prices down for everyone else, and we're not getting. I mean, there's being nice and there's being an idiot.
And I guess that's what you've got to learn, isn't it? About running a business.
And it's good because obviously we've got a lot of advice to people. Obviously, like I said, my partner's had his business for 20 years, so he's quite business orientated. He thrives off it. He loves it. Stressful, don't get me wrong, but he loves it. So he's always trying to go, right, maybe think about this and this. I know I haven't got a shop, but I've built a business from scratch myself, from just putting on floorboards. Now he's building houses. So he's got 20 years, and even though I've been here 20 years, I haven't got 20 years of business experience. It is completely different. So he's offering that. And he was lovely. He gave us some money for our first Christmas, because we had to obviously. Because at this point, yes, we were talking to suppliers, but we haven't got an account. So we couldn't even get a business account because it took us 6 weeks to get it. But because of obviously all the stuff happening and the way it went anyway, you had to prove who you were, and because technically it was still as fresh. And it was we thought it'd be an easy changeover. It would have been actually easier to just get new premises. So we actually didn't even get a bank account properly until. With cards, I think until summer.
Wow.
Took that long to try and
it's just all those
turn
things,
it.
Isn't there, like
stupid little things. The landline, because obviously it got switched off from Fresh. And then we had to change it over and pay. I mean, they're lovely as well. Another company, a phone company we use, they come out and they were talking to us. And one of the guys, he said, I've been in business myself. He said, I ended up going back to work for someone. It was that hard. Still like to dabble in it because I didn't want to lose the love for it. So he went back to work for someone so he can still enjoy what he did. And he was lovely. He came out and again offering some advice, and
It's great, isn't it? Because it's like when you're down on your luck, or not your luck,
Yeah.
it enables people to shine and offer that support, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we're quite, like I said, I don't have a lot of friends, but what I do have are proper friends.
Yeah.
So I've got a very small circle. I don't mean I can get on with everyone, but I've got a very small circle that I'd go, they're my friends. It's like when people go, I've got 2 million people on Facebook. I'm like, I've got 30.
Yeah.
But at least I actually talk to them 30.
Yeah.
Or them 5 or whatever. It's just who I am. I'm not like that. I want people to care for me and I care for them. Yeah. And then I'm not saying, you be nice to other people, you help people in the street, whether it's opening a door or someone drops something. Yeah. You can still do all that stuff.
I call it the onion ring I have. So you've got your inner core, which is probably your partner, buddy, and in most cases family, but all really good friends. And then you've got, like, just on the outside, like our best mates and, and maybe wider family. Yeah. And on the outside you've got community, which... I probably sit there, I'm a customer, but actually we have a bit more of a chat. Yeah. I call my hockey mates, would sit there, and the squash mates, because they're mates, but I wouldn't... You don't have them around for a cup of tea at house. Yeah. You don't tell them your darkest secrets or your fears, but that's what's great about Hoole. Yeah, like, you've got a lot in that wide circle, 100%. Like, even when we were going through it, and even when it officially even changed to us, people like, if you need anything, let us know. Even people that you realise you didn't talk to that much, were so, are you guys okay? What stood out for you in terms of... As in, like, when... In my life journey? Yeah, to begin with. At first, it was always... I know it's going to sound selfish. It sound quite selfish. To rely on yourself first, always. Okay. First, because if you don't start there, how are you going to offer that to anyone? So you've got to realise what you want in life, who your person is, to give that person to someone else. Like, so whether it's a partner, your friend, work friends, how you're going to treat people in work. Because say if I done all this weird and I was resentful, would that show on me now? I could be a different person. So if you don't start there... I think that's... Well, I think that's how it is. I absolutely agree. And you've figured out that journey, and that actually you've got to be kind to yourself and figure out who you are. Yeah. So that you can offer that out wider. Because if you're not alright yourself, you're not in a headspace. It's like when you hear people talk and, they go, is that person... You could all be brought up a certain way. Like, look at us, me and my siblings, we've gone different paths. Yeah. Doesn't mean anyone's in the wrong. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. But you might handle things differently. You might handle people differently. Yeah. And it's the same as when, if you've had an upbringing, a person might have been, I don't know, heaven forbid, someone gets assaulted when they're younger. Yeah. You could either choose to make that a powerful thing and turn yourself into something, amazing for you. Yeah. Or you can use it as a fear to stop yourself becoming something else. It is all choices. I think it's a choice. So we've got self-kindness. What else throughout this journey in terms of kindness of others or kind stuff you've done? I mean, from others, sometimes I know it wasn't about even the giving at that time. It was people coming to check, especially in here at that time. Are you okay? Yeah. Whether it was someone came in and brought a lunch. Yeah. Someone brought Prosecco, or you went home and your partner's gone, right, I've booked a weekend away. Yeah. That's all stuff that sometimes was free. They've just given it to you, which then give you the power to do it back. That you go, right, we've got to get ourselves out of this hole, so you can reflect it back. Because if you're both doing that, and not even just two people, anyone in life is doing that for each other, surely it's going to be a lot happier, isn't it? That's surely. A happy world, isn't it? And really, who wants to get up in the morning and be a little miserable doo-doo? You don't, do you? And so, what's the best act of kindness someone's done for you? Ooh, that is a tough one, actually. Is it a stranger? It sounds like someone's having a wee. I know, it's the drains that flooded in the corner there and the stones. It can be whoever you want. Like for me, I'd have to say it was my partner. As much as he gets on my last nerves, I think if he hadn't pushed me to do something, or to be my person, to be a fighter more, and it's okay to do it for yourself sometimes, I think then you wouldn't be able to give back. So that I was in his words, and sometimes maybe pushing me, sometimes I didn't like to hear it. I didn't like to hear it, I'm going to be honest. But that honesty, that real, sometimes genuine... I go, stop being so brutal, oh my God, or, I'd have a cry, but then, we'd all calm down and it'd be a hug. Yeah. And that's what you need as well. You need the brutality probably there, and then the hug, and then I think me and Helen, if it wasn't for me and Helen working together,
as much as you could probably do it on your own if you've got no choice.
Yeah.
That's family.
Yeah.
Some people go, oh, you don't touch your family. You can create your own family if you want to.
Oh, absolutely.
It's up. You choose who it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's people only meeting up for family now at Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Once a year, and they don't talk to it any other.
Yeah. No.
So it is the same. So
definitely build your own
you know,
family.
we've always said that. You know, if I've ever had hard times, I've gone telling, and vice versa. You know, we actually both broke up with our partners at the same time. You know, first we laughed about it, then we cried, and then we laughed.
Yeah.
You know, and then this was happening at the same time. So this happened not long after it. So there's kindness in the smallest of things rather than big things.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually have to be, here you go, here's a present.
Yeah.
It's inspiration, or one word, or someone like my partner being a bit brutal.
Yeah.
That is an act of kindness to make you the person I am now.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds silly because it doesn't sound like a nice thing to say, but it is.
No, I love that. So actually, and actually this isn't about gifting or money, and
words.
You know, I'd like to say, oh, is that because you've been brought up without birthdays? And I'm like, no.
No, because they're actually more given than anyone, I think, to be fair. But no, like, you know, whether it's we'd come in and, you know, me and Helen were having a cake, or it doesn't have to be what people think is a nice thing to give. Like I said, me and Helen, we work together, and we've got our friends here, and we all support each other. If someone wants a hug, you know, if Emma wants to come for a hug, Helen wants a hug, I want a hug, we all come together and we stand in there.
So actually,
that's what your act of kindness is. The people supporting you. It doesn't have to be a physical gift.
Yeah.
It's either inspiration, a word of advice, or a slap in the face.
Depending what is required.
But it does work. Like my partner will sit and tell me now, she won't listen to me. I can come across argumentative.
Yeah.
But I will always take away up here what you're saying to me. I don't hear it at the time because I could be like, I don't want to listen to it today. I've been to work. But then other times I go, God, he's right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, he's got it. Right, I need to listen to him. Yeah, I need to do this. And that is a brutal act of kindness, probably in my way, but not to him. He's given me the motor.
And he's doing it with the right intention as well.
To succeed.
So like,
which then makes you happier.
A summary of those acts of kindness, because I think so. The self-kindness, definitely.
Yeah.
Look after yourself.
You've got to. If you don't, and it's not even. I'm not talking about. I know as much as I do like to have my hair done. I'm not talking about. They are important things as well. Because if you don't look after yourself in that way, but I'm talking about in there.
Yeah.
I'm very much like that. If I feel a certain way, or my gut's off, or my gut's right, whichever it is, that's what I roll with. And if you don't trust that first, I don't know where you're going.
No,
I feel how are you going to make it in life?
I love that. But then the second one would be a bit of honesty.
Yeah.
Definitely in the right way.
Yeah.
And the right intention. And then the third one is kind words, inspiration, the hug. It's the stuff that
simple things that are free.
And actually that you're doing and giving and receiving all the time, if that's how you choose to live your life, which is a very positive, energising, good way to live your life.
I think so. It's like, you know, we'll all meet up in here, and we always call it the hub of Hoole. We laugh, and it's like, you know, even if, because we've got a few people's messages, you just text someone that night. Just sometimes, if one of your friends has told you something, or another shop owner, you send a message. We've all done it. Chin up, you've got this. Yeah. And you send a little emoji, and it's cheered them up, and they've gone, yeah, I can. It's something as simple as an emoji.
Yeah, I love it.
And I know that costs nothing.
Yeah.
You're paying a phone bill anyway.
Yeah.
So you could have that, but that person's made a night, or you've handed out. I mean, we've done it here. Oh, do you want to take that bouquet then? Don't worry about it. Or this, you know, this little jam jar, or someone didn't pick up this. Do you want this?
Yeah.
It's cost us, yes, obviously, but at the same time, it costs nothing to give that person a smile. Like when they say always, which I always do think, you don't know what is happening at home, and I do think that's true. You don't know what's happening at home.
Well, you know that better than most.
You know, you could come in and put on the greatest smile of your life, but then they're gone. So if you can give someone a real smile instead of a fake one, why not?
Oh, I love that. Real smile instead of a fake one. Are you ever going to get married, by the way? Just out of interest.
Oof. I would like the ring.
Yeah.
I like the idea of being married, but I don't want a wedding. Yeah.
We ran away. Well, we didn't run away. We went to the beach with just.
I think I'd do that. Just literally, registry office.
But you would do it because earlier on you were like, I'm never getting married.
Yeah, I said I'd do it, but it doesn't ruin my life if I don't.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
Like, you know, I'm with the partner.
Yeah.
I love him to pieces.
Yeah.
He loves me to pieces. And that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't need a piece of paper.
Don't need to put a ring on it.
Yeah, but sometimes it would be nice. Just so you know. Stop.
You can always pull on it when things get real.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Curious Chats and Kind Acts. It was lovely to have you. Can I just say a massive thank you to all the people that we've interviewed who have been so honest and vulnerable with me so that we can have these real life stories to share with you, our wonderful listener. And remember, we'd love to hear what random or small acts of kindness you've been up to so that we can maybe do a few. Find us on all the socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and all our /ActsGB, that's ACTSGB. And drop a comment on our feed, tweet us, or even send a photo. Let's build our kindness community together. We'll read some of our favourites on future episodes of Curious Chats and Kind Acts. And you never know, we might even have a go at a few of your ideas ourselves. Watch this space on the socials. For more information about the Acts charity, including how to donate to us, head to actsonline.uk. See you next time!